Welcome to episode 25 of Let's Talk Money with Wendy Silebi. We interrupted our home loan series in episode 24 because it's July and it's National Savings Month, and I really wanted to say something around savings, which are the foundations of a financial freedom journey. As promised, we are back and continuing with our home loans series. Today we are having a discussion with a powerhouse, a leader, a mom, a friend, a sister in the faith. And so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, help me welcome Nozizwe Tshabuse. Nozi, welcome.
Thank you so much, Josephine. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I really am excited to have you. I always wanted you to come. And for me, this home loan series has meant so much because I want to believe that, there's so much that people will learn from it in years to come. So as an introduction, I always allow my guests to introduce themselves, and so on. And you can share as much or as little as you're comfortable with. If I feel there's something you've left out, because I know you so well, I'll ask.
Thanks, Wendy. So, Nozizwe Tshabuse, a child of God, happily married, a mother as well to a beautiful daughter. And I have been in the financial services industry for 25 years now. 20 years with Nedbank, and still very excited to be here. I think that's what's important. I think there's a lot that's missing right there. So maybe just take us through your upbringing. What was your upbringing like? Your education, qualification. I mean, for me, you are one of the people that are an inspiration because I know where you come from to where you are right now. So I'd really like us to voice that over for someone who's watching, just to encourage. No, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. So we would need 5 years to talk about it, but I'll try and be short. So I grew up Komapetla, born Kosnawani Clinic. I don't know if it's still around.
Born it's
Nawani Clinic, so I don't think it's around anymore.
No.
And at the age of 11, staying with my parents, my mom, her brothers and sisters, Komapetla in a four-roomed house, I then asked my mom, please can I go stay with my grandmother, because in a four-roomed house where there was just too many of us at the time. And I moved to Rustenburg at the age of 11 to stay with my gran, and my uncle was not well. And people never believe this when when you sit in these big buildings in Nedbank, that at that age, because we were struggling financially, I had to give him cozy, which means after school I will get whatever, the vegetables, oranges, put them in a dish, walk around the village selling them. And then fast forward 2 years later, my mother bought a house, and she said, okay, now you can come back. I came back and went to St. Catherine's Convent. And then after that, GP Girls. I then joined Wits, dropped out, so I'm an official Wits dropout, but it's better than a postgrad from other universities. So Wits, and then I joined UNISA, and it was in 2001 when I got a call from ABSA to join their learnership program. It was called Candidate Bank Technician at the time, and this meant you are exposed to different parts of the branch, teller, inquiries, which was fantastic exposure. When the contract came to an end, I was still pushing my luck with UNISA, making sure that I get that undergrad. When the contract came to an end, they didn't have vacancies besides that of a receptionist. I then decided to take that because I realized, it's either that or I'm going to find myself unemployed. So I was a receptionist for ABSA Private Banking based in Rosettenville. I did that for a few months. But whilst I was doing that, serving my customers, so their customers, tea and coffee, I would also every now and then eavesdrop so that I get to learn the private banking products. And I think a year, 2 years later, they wanted a private banker. And guess what? I was very, very confident. I applied for the job, and by the grace of God, I was successful. And I always tell this story, life is actually what you make of it. It's not necessarily about where you come from, but what you do with what you have now, and also what you do when it comes to your own goals as an individual. And I think my banking career started then, because after ABSA, I then moved to Bridge. I spent 5 days there. It was not great. Looking at the stock exchange. And when I was just joined Bridge, BOE Private Clients called me, headhunted me. They wanted somebody to help develop their emerging Black affluent portfolio. So I joined them as a business development manager and went after some of these wealthy guys that I thought I knew would go, the guys from ABSA that I knew, and started creating my own portfolio there. The bank restructured, and I soon found myself in what today we call Nedbank personal banking, RBB retail relationship banking. Spent some time there, and I was bored. There's only so many checkbooks and credit cards you can deliver, guys. At a point I was like, no, there must be more to life,
be more to this.
dropping off people's checkbooks at their homes. And it looks glamorous, I'm a private banker, but when you really unpack it, you're like, no, there must be more. And after that, I then applied for a role in strategic sales and alliance. That's where we met as a national sales and service coach. Again, there, as you know, the strategy was, how do we position Nedbank within the communities in which our clients live and operate in. So they needed somebody to help the consultants that we're recruiting. How do you train them up so that they know how to sell, they know how to manage their teams? And those were the good old days. I always say selling these accounts under the gazebos, Zanti accounts. Whenever I'm invited to speak and I say to people, times you find yourself trying to sell the Nedbank accounts, and if you don't know what Marabastad looks like, keep it that way. Those are areas that we want to forget, but guess what? They actually contributed to the people that we are today. Because as I sit as a managing executive today for client debt management and recoveries for Nedbank, retail and business banking, the experience and the skills that I got over the past 20 years, whether it's in that, as a private banker, or running teams that were selling accounts inside of a Pick and Pay or a Boxer store, being exposed to branch. I had an opportunity to run Gauteng East as a provincial general manager. Also had the privilege of heading up cross-border banking, as we used to call it, with all those ambassadors. Today we call it non-resident and embassy banking. And I think it is really as a result of all those different exposures that today I find myself in a position where one, I'm privileged, but I also believe that I'm well informed to be able to guide our clients and also try and make a difference in the life of ordinary South Africans. The work we do within the bank, for me, is not just about the financial aspect of it, managing your key financial ratios, but it's really how we are able to change the way people think about money, the way people relate to money. And as we do that, hopefully years from now, we can look back and say, at a point in time, we started helping our customers to change their behavior. And as they change their behavior for the better, you ultimately transform the economy of the country.
Sure.
So yes, that's and then I'm a pastor's wife.
Yes.
I get also to add that.
Mamfundis.
I know you wanted that one also, Mamfundis.
But Nozi, you said something very interesting where you were a dropout, right? And when I met you,
I forgot that.
You had a matric.
Yes.
I think when I met you, and today
I was an official vets dropout.
Yes, but it didn't end there.
No.
So I want to voice over that, over the years, I think as we sit here, you've got an MBA.
Yes,
You've got a master's. And I mean, I just want you to encourage someone that's listening to us. How did you move from being a dropout and just having a matric to where you are today? What does it take for one to rise? And especially because you've shared how Anoliko Northwest things were not easy, even Liko Mapela.
So yeah, I dropped out of vets, but I didn't take it as the end of my life. I registered with UNISA, and like any other young, I don't know, professional, we always take it, once you've got your first tunnels in your car, what do you need the degree for? You don't need to complete the degree. And until I met my husband, funny enough, and he said to me, don't you get tired? Every time you go into an interview, like, no, I'm first year, half year, connected to second year, I'm almost, it will be a BCom at some point. Yeah. He really challenged me together with my mentor, then Kevin Palmer, and I decided to complete my BCom marketing with UNISA, and I just gotten married. I remember actually for my grad year UNISA, I was highly pregnant with Abigail. As soon as she was born, I did my honors in strategy management with UJ, and soon after that, a year later, I did my Masters of Commerce with UJ, also specializing in strategic management and business management, the MCOM. And then the bank gave me an opportunity to do a lot of really great executive development programs like the Duke, where I was exposed to a lot of the international practices, San Francisco, Kenya, just having a look at what digital transformation looks like. And then 2 years ago, last year, 2 years ago, I think, I then enrolled for the Chartered Banker status with a Chartered Banker Institute in London. And for you to get that status next to your name, you have to do their MBA with Bangor University. So yeah, looking back, by the grace of God, it's the MBA, it's the MCOM, it's the BCom honors, the BCom undergrad, and all the different programs. And again, it's just it boils down to one simple principle: never stop learning.
Yeah.
Never tell yourself that you've arrived.
Yeah.
Because in any interview, there's always somebody much more affluent, much more beautiful, much more educated. So you need to make sure that in any position that you find yourself in, you need to upskill yourself so that you remain relevant for that role, but also for the future as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully there'll be a next.
Yeah, PhD, Dr. Tshabuse. That actually rhymes very well.
I wonder.
And I think, Nozi, I'm very proud of your achievements. Not only did you achieve what you've mentioned, you also got an award overseas.
Yes.
And then, as we speak right now, you are the first Black woman and African to have been awarded the CE award.
Yes,
wow, you know what, you've broke that last ceiling for us. It's a pity I'm retired. Later maybe I would follow in your footsteps.
We praise God. And I've been blessed with great teams also. That award for me is there are a lot of teams behind that. So, but I'm very blessed. Thank you.
Awesome. So as we get into the topic of today, growing up, what are some of the money stories you were told, and how did these money stories shape your relationship with money? Into the meat. That's what,
So funny enough, I've shared this story before. When I started working for Absa Southgate, when they made me permanent, I was earning 1,500. I was very excited, and I remember my mother sitting me down at buy yourself a bed and then oreke fridge or oreke Tupperware. No problem. I'm thinking, okay, it will happen over time. No, go now. Ulonga skoloto. Go to Joshua Door and buy yourself a bed. All of us live like that, So, and that became a money belief. If you want to buy anything, it's going to be on debt. It's going to be on credit. I bought a bed, Southgate, staying in Protea. I remember signing a document, which I believe was a contract, which tells me about the installments, the interest. I knew nothing about interest rates. Signed up the thing because I wanted the neighbors to see that truck. When your stuff gets delivered, people now say, "I know she's working, wabereka." And I look back now. I mean, things like the delivery costs. Hey, it must have been, I don't know, 100 rands from Southgate to my house, but I still said no, include it in the contract. And all I was interested in is when is the first debit order? When are you going to take your money? But what was sad is that I look back now, we're talking 25 years ago, that those are some of the things that probably, I was taught, my mother had been taught, all of us have been taught that if you are going to be successful in life, the success will be backed by credit. And that is not the truth.
Yeah.
It must have taken me a good 10 years to try and get out of that, because it starts with a bed, then it's a Foshini account, then it's a Woolworths. You know Woolworths, how we swipe?
Yeah.
You swipe
Buy
for chicken,
food.
you're swiping and it's status because your trolley is full. And when people ask you about your card, you're like, no, give for the points.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things we say to ourselves. And then, it's just it just became a part of who I was. And I remember when I got the BOE job, a few months into the job, I had a friend, then her name Kiniki Bassett Powell. We were both buying cars at the same time. I was buying a car on credit. It was a Hyundai at 30,000. Imagine I'm busy signing a contract for a 30,000 vehicle. Nikki was buying a Mini Cooper, 150,000 cash.
Sure.
Even at that time, you have a moment where you almost come out of yourself. You're like, what's going on here? Two people, same situation, but handling that situation differently. And Nikki needed another 20,000 on the vehicle. And she said, no, I only have 150K. Good, no, but just take an overdraft. What's wrong with you? We can just, I can go with you, man, to the branch. Just get an overdraft. And she said, no, which already showed me that she had a very different money belief compared to what I had at that time. And when she told me, I said, okay, where does the 150,000 come from? She said, no. Remember my dad, when he was still alive, he had shares. And the shares have now vested. And now when I look back, no shares. Just that. In fact, advice about go borrow there and borrow some more. So these are some of the things that I think did shape the way I thought about money. It's only probably about 10, 15 years ago when I started getting to know more and more about the products and looking at how we relate to money. Our relationship with money is very important. And I realized, but actually, yes, you may want the thing, but I don't have to get it now.
No.
And you inspired us also when you were still with the bank, when you came to Gauteng East, and you were talking about you had 4 credit cards and you started, because retirement was, getting nearer and nearer. And it's those kind of inspirational stories that I took with me, and I said, actually, if I want to have a better life and I want my child, my family to have a successful life, I have to make very different decisions when it comes to money. Today, when we teach people, and I know I'll be challenged on this, but today when we teach people, we tell them there's no such thing as good or bad debt. Debt is debt.
Yeah.
Stop trying to justify it in your head. No, it's good debt because ABCD. Debt is debt. And for as long as that you have it, chances are you'll be enslaved to whoever it is that you owe. So we need to really teach our people around, it's not just about budgeting. It's budget and pay the thing off. Instead of going to buy a car, a car 1 million on credit, go on auction and buy a car 100,000 cash. Ultimately it's about that, because interest rates could go up. Just because you afford you qualify doesn't mean you afford that particular product. So those are the beliefs also that I grew up with. But today, as I sit here, there's one that is true in my life, which is the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money itself, the love of money. And that we get to see obviously in how we relate with money.
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing that, Nozi. And the one takeout for me, there are many, but the one is about that story, Nikki. And the other day you shared it, and I thought about it to say, as parents, those that are about to have children, those that have children, let us create an inheritance for our children.
Correct.
When the children are born, let's take out a unit trust for them, or some sort of investment that we pay off over a period and forget about it, so that when they turn 18, they
start up
exactly, and even the good book that we believe in, the Bible talks about how a wise man or a wise woman leaves an inheritance, for their children and for their grandchildren. grandchildren. Yeah. Anyway, returning to our topic for today. So maybe just to give you context as well, in episode 22, I spoke to Tim Akinusi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a bond originator on acquiring a home using their digital platform. And as you know, he worked here and he did some amazing work. And after that, because I wanted to give my viewers a journey map, and then I followed up with an episode where I chatted to a notary and conveyancer, Helen Paleng Bodile, on the process here, registration, the transfers, what happens at the deeds office, why are there delays, and all of that, you know, as part of the education process. And then in episode 23, I spoke to Matthew Sidu from the National Housing, who shared about, you know, the grant that first-time homeowners can get if they are part of that gap, what they identify as the gap, you know, gap market. And if anybody that's watching wants to know more, they can go and watch episode 23. But what I've found is that a lot of people don't know the government does give them a grant that helps them to can purchase a home, you know, that they can afford. So I thought today, let's then take the journey to say, okay, I've done all of that. I've been paying my house, handler. When I applied for it, I afforded. There was no question, there was affordability, and everything was in place. But now, after COVID-19, we are still experiencing the impact in many areas, economic, health, and so on. And as we know, life is cyclical. You know, we go through seasons, just like now, winter, it's a natural season. We're looking forward to a new season. So I have bought assets, I have a home, I have a car, I've been paying them, and everything has been good. But now something happens that has an impact on my affordability. That's where you come in. As the managing executive of CDR, I'd like you to really share with the viewers, if I feel things are not looking good, or I'm already in trouble, and I am banking with Nedbank, what can I do?
So thank you so much for that, Sis Wendy. So as Nedbank, we really pride ourselves in our purpose, which is financial experts who do good. And we believe that doing good is not just from a CSI perspective, but it's also in terms of how we partner with our clients in the different milestones, you know, the different financial milestones. So we also noticed post-COVID that there was an increase of customers that were going to default, whether in their home loan, vehicle finance, credit card, personal loans. And we set up this division called CDR to really support our customers. And that's why we call it client debt management and recoveries, which is really centralized around two pillars, which is rehabilitate our customers as well as recover. And the rehabilitate piece is quite important because the way we have set it up, we actually have a team that focuses on customers that are not yet in default, but we can see they're in trouble. So we've got predictive scorecards in our portfolio that use things such as, and these things are early risk warnings, things such as a cancelled insurance, you know, as soon as somebody wants to reverse their debit order. So already our models tells us that chances are this client is in trouble. If you don't have a conversation with them now, in 2 months' time, they're going to miss their installment. So within CDR, we've got a portfolio that's called preventions, and all we do there is to really chase up clients that we believe might roll forward into default status. So again, they're showing customers that we are there for them. And I mentioned these functions because we always say, come talk to us, but maybe clients out there don't really know what we have to offer, right? So we've got the preventions portfolio. We even go after clients that have, on the credit bureau, have made an inquiry around debt counseling. And this is because we know a lot of our customers are not educated when it comes to debt review and debt counseling. There's a lot of adverts and marketing tactics and strategies out there in the market. You know, there's a bot that's going to call you every night at 6 o'clock that will say, you know, are you in trouble financially? Let us help you reduce your monthly installments, promising you the world. And what we are finding is more and more customers end up being triggered on the credit bureau or flagged as debt cancelling clients when they did not even sign up for it. So as soon as we realize you've done an inquiry on the credit bureau, we will phone you and say, Sis Wendy, are you okay? We noticed that you did this inquiry. Are you in some sort of trouble so that we can assist you? And then beyond preventions, we then have what we call the collections portfolio. And within collections is where in an event we could not catch you in the preventions portfolio, you end up missing your first installment. There we've got well over 600 agents just on this portfolio to handle calls, conversations, meetings from clients that are saying, I'm in help, Nedbank, please can you help me? We've got different options such as an arrangement. So depending on your financial situation, you know, we could say, let's take this amount that is in areas and spread it over 3 months. We also have an option that we call a moratorium, particularly for home loan, which is almost like a payment holiday, where we say, you know, based on the challenges that you're facing, let us give you a break of 2 or 3 months, again, depending on the terms and conditions and what the scenario is at that time. We have other options called restructures. So for the people that are owing on their vehicle finance, we're able to take, let's say we give you a holiday this month, we take that installment, we spread it over the remaining term, and if really, really critical, we can even extend it. You know, that's if we strongly believe that there's no way you can still afford your vehicle. And then we also have another option where we are saying, in an event, a client says, look, I'm retrenched, I don't have a job, so even if you restructure, it's not going to help. We've got something called the Nedbank assisted sales, where we help you as a client to sell off your property or vehicle finance. And we've really had some great stories, because here you are still empowered to manage your property, to manage your dignity. You sell it off together with the bank, and in an event where there is a surplus, we pay it back to you. I was sharing a story the other day that we had a client where we sold off his property, I think it was at 700. There was 100,000 rand surplus. We actually put it back into his account. You know, a good story there. He doesn't have a shortfall with the bank. He's not listed. He's not running from our phone calls. He sold off his property, and he also got some cash as well. So we've got a number of options available, again, depending on where you are, what you are going through. And on the prevention side, chances are it's the education bit, where we are saying, don't go to debt counseling prematurely. It is the right thing. It is an NCR solution, recommended solution for clients that are over indebted. But we are saying, first, come to us. Let us see, as the bank that partnered with you when you took out your home loan, at inception, where we send you flowers, when you get your keys. We are saying that we still want to partner with you throughout the different journeys. So after collections, we then move into recoveries, and recoveries is where we'll help you to sell. But in an event that we cannot at all sell the property, that's when the bank obviously will take the necessary steps to mitigate this loss. It's always the last resort, repossessions and trying to sell somebody's house, going through that court process. It's always the absolute last resort. But we find ourselves sometimes with our hands very tied, because clients are not talking to us. Clients are not coming to us. They skip an installment. They call it the ostrich effect. You just bury your head in the sand. You are hoping when you lift it up again, the world would have changed, and it hasn't changed. So some clients don't pick up the phone. Or when they do pick up the phone, they immediately they're like, Nedbank, as soon as you authenticate, is this Mrs. Wendy Silebi? They put the phone down. I'm calling from Nedbank, they put the phone down. And what we really, really want to ask and invite our clients to do is, please talk to us. We are actually here to help. We've set up this division, CDR, just so that we can assist our customers to rehabilitate them. I shared some of the stats the other day of well over 930 35,000 clients that we've helped that were either in collections or even in legal. We helped to get them back onto the active, the healthy book, which means they're able to now pay their installments. But not only that, they're not limited or restrained by the confinements of things like a debt review. Remember, things like debt review, they'll promise you relief. It looks like you're getting a break, but actually there's a 5 to 10 year monitoring process. You can't apply for credit. If you're married in community property, shame, I feel for that spouse because their credit score also gets affected negatively.
Yeah.
So we as a bank, we make it our point to help to rehabilitate our customers first and foremost. And then only if we cannot rehabilitate, then we proceed with the legal steps. But the main message here today for me, Oswendi, is please, clients must talk to their banks. And I can't speak for all the other banks. I can speak for Nedbank. We have created a center of excellence just so that we can help clients, because we know that life happens. We know that, yes, you bought the house, things are okay, you go through a bit of challenges. Don't run away from us and don't get advice from dodgy people that are not qualified or people that are promising you a relief and then they still charge you. Rather come back and talk to us. There is no need for you to be ashamed of where you are.
Yeah.
If anything, we want clients that are saying, I'm vulnerable, but I want you to help me. You know, because that tells me you are owning your financial situation.
Yeah.
And we know that this is only seasonal, right? And again, depending on how you handle it, chances are within a few months' time, a few years' time, you find yourself back on your feet again. So we do not want to lose that relationship.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, shame, customers think banks only want them when things are good.
Yeah. Wow, that is a mouthful, and that is a lot, and it shows that, you know, if you reach out, the bank is willing to partner with you. You know, you said something the other day, or you are not in the business of repossessing,
No,
but you are in the business of keeping your customers'
in
dignity.
their homes. Correct.
Yes, and I mean, I have had a few friends that have really contacted me that could see that they were heading that way, and I referred them to CDR, and I can say that I have so many testimonies of them being assisted, and right now they can sleep well at night.
Yes.
And you know, they're not afraid to take a call. Please, man, I always say, you know,
don't avoid
that
us,
agent,
please.
when they are calling, they're just on the line. Talk to them. They're not going to jump out of the phone, and they're here. You know, they just want to have a conversation with you, and it's all about making sure that your home or your car is not repossessed, but that, you know, you keep it. Now, on Monday, you know, you held a session where you invited a client engagement session where you invited about 10,000 clients to come and engage, you know, to engage with the experts, you know, that can assist them with financial management, resilience in times of trouble. I was one of those. And maybe just share with our viewers why it's important that when they receive those invitations, they honor them and come, so that, you know, there is no shame, you know, in attending such a session.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Oswendi. And again, I strongly believe that knowledge is power. If I had known, like Nikki, about shares, if I had known that you can actually buy a bed cash, I don't think I would have gone through the 10 years of, you know, Joshua Doe.
So I wish
someone had told me. You know, and it's really about that. We, again, as Nedbank, are setting up events not to sell you a product as a client. We are setting up these events knowing already that we believe that you might be in some sort of financial difficulty. You have not yet missed an installment, but you are considering debt review. You are considering different solutions to help you get out of trouble. We will be having more and more of these events because we strongly believe that as we give you information, you are able to, one, make sure you take up the right arrangements that will help you depending on your financial circumstance at the moment, but also We are also ensuring that we avail knowledge as well as details around what is it that you can do to plan better for the future. Because it's one thing to help you with an arrangement now, but how do I make sure that in 2-3 years' time, you don't find yourself in the same position? And I really want to invite our listeners, Sis Wendy, that as we send out these invites, please attend. We'll be having them Soweto, Kotembisa. We are going to localize them as much as we can, so that our clients make the right decision. I want to sleep well at night knowing very well that every South African that decides to go into debt review does it well informed. Not, I think I'm in trouble and I'm gonna say yes to the next messaging that pops up on my cell phone. We want to make sure that we partner with you. We feed you with as much knowledge and information as possible, because when our clients make the right decisions, guess what? Their kids make the right decisions. And as they do that, we change the way we relate to money. So I'm hoping we'll have more and more of our clients attending these sessions, because all the other banks I know, when they host such, it's normally to sell you a product, to tell you about how great we are. But we are going to invest and spend a lot of money so that we can have focus groups, host our clients, engage, talk to them one-on-one as well, so that we can get to understand your situation. Because in our mind, you're not just another ID number or a customer number.
Yeah, so you're encouraged to attend these sessions. They are amazing, they are powerful. You get the best for free, and I can assure you that I'll be in some of the sessions, so you can be free to relax, to know that there's no judgment here, but only education, empowerment, and making sure that we do the right things, we secure our future. So if I'm a client and I'm watching now and I want to make contact with your team, how do I do that? How do I reach you?
So first and foremost, the Nedbank website. We actually have just launched a page just on debt assistance. It shows you the different arrangements, the different options and offerings that are available for you if you are in financial trouble. We also post our telephone number as well there. There's also a call me back form that you can complete so that we are able to phone you. And by the way, our operation, we work from 7 all the way until 8 o'clock at night. So we are able to even call you at the time you are able to talk to us. So the information is there, Sis Wendy. I really want to encourage our clients to visit our website, go under the debt assistance tab, so that you can get all the information you need, and we will be able to assist you.
Sure. Help is available by Jesus. You don't have to be miserable, depressed, having anxiety attacks unnecessarily when there is so much help that is available. And by the way, I'd like to say that even if you're not a Nedbank client and you hear that these engagement sessions are happening and you feel that, you need this empowerment, come, the more the merrier. Okay, so in this book of mine, I wish someone had told me, I share my money story in chapter 10 of how I bought my first house, disaster. How I bought my first car. Balloon. So I'd like you to just share with someone some advice, someone that's thinking of purchasing a home now, of purchasing a car. What are some of the things that they should be looking out for? What are things to avoid to make sure that you don't find yourself probably in a year or two in a situation where you're unable to fulfill on your trust relationship with your bank?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sis Wendy, and I think very important part of this conversation actually. According to Stats SA, South Africans are spending more than 75% of their net income servicing debt, which means, as people get paid, if they get paid 10 rands, 7 rands, they don't even know what happened. It just goes. It just goes to debt. And that's why it's important when you do buy a house or you buy a car, we want to celebrate with you. You know, don't get me wrong. We are not jealous, but make sure that you are buying something that you can afford, right? Qualifying for something doesn't mean you can afford it, because you may qualify, but there's still insurance you need to cater for. There's still petrol that is not remaining still that you need to cater for. There's also interest rates that also change. And what we are seeing even now, clients that actually now in a high interest rate environment, clients that are in financial trouble are the ones that took out cars 3 years ago, 2020.
When interest rates were at 6%, 4%.
And guess what? They went for the maximum. They said you qualify for 800,000. They went for 800,000. In fact, they went for 1.4. But I load 400,000 of balloon. And I do this because I really think when we say balloon, people think it's something far-fetched. I sit with a lot of clients in the portfolio where they've had the vehicle for 4 years, 5 years. But when we get to the end of the 5-year period, there is this huge balloon. And guess what? We end up having to go and repossess for a balloon.
Because of a balloon.
Yes, because of a balloon. So I'm saying when you buy a house, when you buy a car, balloon must be again the last resort, because balloon already tells you
I can't afford it.
And you know, like how you go to Harties and you see those big balloons, or when people are going on romantic lunches, that balloon is like this. So I always say to clients, imagine that thing over your head. You go to bed, it's here. You wake up, you go to church, it's here. It's still hanging for 5 years, 40%, 30%, 20%. It's not worth it. By the time you want to pay the balloon, now you want us to refinance it. Guess what? The value of the car is 0. So we want to enable you, but you must be empowered and make the right decisions. You are going to get letters. You know, I used to get excited. They write to you. You qualify for.
They've got your name, dear Nozizwe.
You qualify for 300,000. Hey, these guys really, wow. You know, you feel important. Hey, my credit score is good. Please, your credit score is not good so that you can go and get more debt. You know, so people, in my mind, shame. We want to do well, but sometimes the decisions that we make when it comes to money end up really getting us into trouble. I always think it's sad when you've had a vehicle for 5 years and now you avoid us because, you know, you are no longer working. There's this balloon here, 200, 300,000. And then we need to send out people to go and repossess the car. It's just not right. But perhaps if that person had bought a less pricier car,
they would have finished.
They would have not had to take out a balloon. So when we do rehabilitate, we also don't judge, right? Because we know life happens and all of us have got our story to tell. What's important is you reflect on your story, take the learnings. What's important is you must draw the line at some point. What is it that I've done to get to this point? How do I make sure I don't make the same mistakes? So get rid of those credit cards. Start there. And I know you're going to have a bit of, you know, fears and panic attacks. Maybe you'll need water, you'll need, but the sooner you do that, the better. You want to buy a car, don't go for the car that people want for you. Buy the car that you want for yourself and that you need for yourself. We've got a colleague we were talking to the other day. She's just bought a house, she just got married. And she said, "Mfuni Mercedes." So which one is it? Do you want a Mercedes or do you want a car? Because already that tells me that actually for you right now need a mode of transport. But chances are if we don't reflect on this and coach you very quickly, you're going to go get a Mac. And if you want a Mac, they'll give you. If it's not us, these dealers are aggressive. They will give you, you'll pay 25% interest because they know you like things and you like status and you want to drive a Mercedes. So people need to make decisions that are not driven by status and they need to belong. Because we suffered from that, because people don't see your house, they see your car. You know, so you want, I know, right? Managing exec, and then after that, do they help you with your monthly installments? No. When times are tough, they're the very same ones to say, "Baratari koloto, unaya kai."
Yeah.
So it's important that you make decisions that are going to, one, make sense for you in terms of where you are financially, but in your mind, always have a buffer. Or in an event, if I'm paying 2,000, in an event that interest rate go up, and this 2,000 becomes 4,000, will I still be able to afford it?
Yep.
Or it becomes 2,500, will I still be able to afford it? Do those numbers in your own mind, that there must be something that I have as a buffer so that I don't find myself in trouble.
Yeah.
But I think we are on a journey. I think they've been, based on where we come from, a lot of us are still on a journey. And my encouragement to everybody is start now. Don't wait for the bonus, the lotto, the windfall. There's no miracle that's coming.
Yeah.
Start now, draw the line in the sand, make sure that you understand what is your income, what are your expenses every month, but also have a financial vision for your family. A lot of people have got the, what do you call them, vision boards. I want to be married at 30, I want to do this, I want to drive this, but that Cabriolet has got a debt behind it.
No financial
There's no
plan.
financial plan. The big question is, what is your financial vision for you and your family?
Yeah.
Where do you guys see yourself in 10 years and 5 years time financially? And once you understand that why, I can tell you, you are going to make very different decisions when it comes to money on a day-to-day basis.
I love it. It's like Nozi's preaching from my book. Everything is in here. And if you really want to get your finances to give them a lift so that, they're not languishing, but that they're flourishing, maybe you also need to get yourself this book. But besides that, what the nuggets, Nozi's dropped so many nuggets. I hope that you will watch and rewatch and really take those nuggets. This morning I was laughing. Someone had posted that they got their score, and the score sabona sa credit 666. Kara, you better pray. And they came back. So I said, no, you better pray 666. But I think what is encouraging in that is that even if you have a great credit score and you get that personalized letter, don't go for credit if you're not sure about it. Yeah, so Nozi, as we draw to the close of our conversation, I mean, we are going into Women's Month. You are a woman, you are a leader, you are a mom. What is your message to women as we go into, August?
Oh, thank you so much. Women are very, very close to my heart. I do believe that we have been given a very big mandate when God created us, which is around influence. And sometimes I think we look down on ourselves and undermine just how powerful we really can be. So for this Women's Month, I really want to encourage women to really spend time in understanding their true identity, the value that has been placed upon their lives to influence across, within the family, beyond the family, in the marketplace, in corporate, in business. How do we make sure the challenges that we are seeing emanating across the country? I mean, every now and then you open up a newspaper, there's some bad story. How do we use the power of influence as women to change this country into becoming a much better country? And it starts with, how do I influence my family today in a manner that they will want to become better people? How do I influence my neighbors, the communities in which we operate in? Because I strongly believe, and people laugh at me and say, Eve was made from the rib, by far much stronger. So we don't need to be competing, it's 50-50, I'm the head. Please, man, know your place. Influence, in my mind, is by far much more powerful.
Wow. What powerful nuggets that we've received today. I think these nuggets are going to live with us for a long, long time. Thank you, Nozi, for this empowering, thought-provoking conversation that we've had. But I think at the end of it all, what is important is that you need to engage your financial institution if you are feeling that you're going to be in trouble. Help is available. It's there. Reach out. There's a hand that's just waiting, to connect with yours and assist you. And so thank you for this conversation.
Thank you.
And we're almost at the end of the session. Sure, I've got some amazing news. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for those who've been subscribing. We just have a few more. If you have not done so, click on that subscribe button and let's get to 1,000, and then we set new targets. And if you'd like to get a copy of my book, you can go on my website, wendysilibi.co.za, and you can purchase it there. If you're overseas, I have faith that there are people that are watching from overseas. It's on Amazon. You can get it in ebook format and hard copy.
Yes.
Until the next episode, thank you for watching.
Thank you. Hello everyone, Nozizwe Tshabuse again. Thank you so much for watching my episode with Sis Wendy. I really enjoyed talking to her. And just for Women's Month, I wanted to make the special announcement that I will be hosting young ladies, old ladies, women from all over on the 9th of August. It will be at 96 North Street, Ferndale in Randburg. And our theme will be unique identity. And we are going to meet over tea just to talk about who we are as women and how God has empowered us with the power of influence and how we can embrace our own identity in order to transform our communities.